I'm an early riser, and I think living in Queensland now, where we don't have daylight savings, that it could well be the case by the middle of summer that I'm going to be awake around 4 a.m. naturally every day. It means I'm not a lot of company in the evenings, but it does mean when my energy is freshest in the morning, I can get on, and normally I do a bout of work for, I don't know, around about an hour and a half before breakfast. So I've been awake since 5:15 today. Of course, having this little creature in my life has shifted the patterns a little bit. She wakes up around about the same time and demands a bit of playtime before she settles down and sits at my feet while I work. You may recall yesterday was all about preparing my September newsletter, which has the theme of social learning. So this morning I've just been previewing and testing. I'm going to send one last test email. I did make some more changes. Okay, yeah, we'll send that to myself. Did make some more changes this morning. I've done one round of checking. I've gone through and I've looked at every article which is linked. For instance, this one around getting strategic with social learning. Checked through all of the subsequent links from every article, made sure the resources look good, that everything's functioning properly, did a few little updates, and now it's time for a final test. I also spent a little bit of time looking back over the last month at anyone who's connected with me on LinkedIn or I've met up with to see if the newsletter might be relevant to them. Sent them a quick note. In some cases I was pretty confident they'd be happy to receive the newsletter, so I've subscribed them, sent them a note to let them know I've done it. Normally I would check in with them first and make sure they're okay with it before I add them to the mailing list, but I've got to get this email out or this newsletter out today, so I did explain that I wanted to ensure they got the value from the newsletter, but just to let me know if they wanted to be removed from the mailing list. One of the things I most struggle with writing is that I tend to use very long sentences. So Katie Mack, my publicity mentor, is constantly saying to me, have a bit of fun with it, be a little bit lighter, look for a bit more variety in your sentence length. And that indeed was the feedback she gave me yesterday when she reviewed my draft newsletter. So I just went through and started hacking and chopping and changing the rhythm. It really does make a difference. I've actually created a blog editing checklist which I can use more broadly for all sorts of posts and written content, and I've done this based on Katie Mack's program, her webinars, her 6-month dangerous blogging program. So she has a template, so the template's here, but I've just pulled everything onto one page. So I'm using the template as a checkpoint, looking at the 5 values that she encourages us to apply in our writing, which I find very aligned with my own values and how I approach my work. The word this, length of sentences, positioning myself for the future, making sure it's clear what I bring to the issue or challenge, communicating approach and philosophy rather than a lot of technical jargon and how-tos, and being courageous. So you can see some of it is things I've picked up from the 5 values and amplified a little bit. So I'm just going to pop this up. So I've just popped that checklist up on the notice board near my desk. Loving this working space I've set up at the moment, and the fact that I've got so much natural light coming through. Not loving the fact that it's in my living room, but hey, you've got to work with the space you've got, and I really like my apartment. Well, that bus trip took a lot longer than I thought. Deserves me right for being a little smug about the buses. I got really engrossed in something and I missed my bus stop. So I was engrossed doing my pre-work for my detangling day preparation next week, answering questions about my business and my aspirations and the like, and I just got too tied up in it and just missed my stop completely.